Hey everyone, I'm Elchanan and I'm Jewish.
I'm Suha and I'm Muslim. Today, we're going to discuss an extremely holy site, Al-Aqsa.
You mean Temple Mount?
Temple Mount? Don't Jews pray at Al-Buraq?
Oh, you mean the Kotel. Like you, it's actually the mountain behind it, which is most significant.
Oh really? How so?
Let's start at the beginning, the very beginning. We believe that on that mountain rests a rock from which the entire world was created. In the book of Genesis and the Torah, God ordered Abraham to sacrifice his son on Mount Moriah. We believe Mount Moriah is actually Temple Mount. Many centuries later, but still about 3,000 years ago, God ordered King Solomon to build him a temple in Jerusalem, the city which his father, King David, made capital of the kingdom of Israel. That temple, or Beit HaMikdash in Hebrew, stood for 400 years until it was destroyed by the Babylonians. 70 years later, a second Beit Mikdash was built by the Jews returning from exile in Persia. But that one too was destroyed in the year 70 by the Romans.
Interesting. We call Jerusalem Beit al-Maqdis, and you call your temple Beit HaMikdash.
So why don't you tell me about Temple Mount in Islam?
You mean Al-Aqsa? One night, around 1400 years ago, the Archangel Gabriel came to the Prophet Muhammad and led him on a magical night journey, called Isra, from Mecca to Jerusalem. At the mountain, Muhammad tied his magical animal, Al-Buraq, at the wall. He ascended to the heavens, where he met all the prophets, including Moses and Jesus, and received the commandment of prayer 5 times a day. After his return, for several months, Muhammad led Muslims in prayer in the direction of Jerusalem, before the Qibla switched to Mecca.
That's why Jerusalem is holy to you.
Of course! By the end of the 7th century, 2 monumental Muslim structures stood on the mountain: the Dome of the Rock, built over the same holy rock you mentioned earlier, and Al-Aqsa Mosque, on the southern end of the plaza. Both were constructed by the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik. The entire plaza is known as Al-Aqsa or al-Haram ash-Sharif, and is holy to Muslims. According to our tradition, praying on Al-Aqsa is worth hundreds or even thousands of regular prayers. Jerusalem is our 3rd holiest city after Mecca and Medina.
Jews have been praying 3 times a day toward the Temple Mount for thousands of years. For centuries, Jews have been praying at the Western Wall, which is the last remnant of the Second Temple. The wall is also the closest place to where the temple once stood where Jews can pray, since the exact site of the temple is too holy for Jews to pray today, according to Jewish law. Access to the mountain was also restricted by foreign rulers over the centuries.
So can I ask you a sensitive question?
Sure.
Do you want to rebuild your temple?
Well, it's complicated. We do pray for God to rebuild Beit HaMikdash in the future. But until God decides to do so, our synagogues and the Western Wall are where we traditionally pray.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You call it Temple Mount and the Kotel,
And you call it Al-Aqsa and Al-Buraq.
but I think we can agree that it's one of the holiest places on the planet.
So we need to protect it and respect it for all of our sakes.